I know there's a lot of people out there who want to grow their own businesses through Instagram, and they're assuming followers equals money. No. So recently I've been getting a ton of questions about my business, about coaching, growing a following, all those things. So I decided to be rather transparent and bring you guys through all the behind the scenes of being an influencer. I just want to remind you guys that this is just my experience with being an influencer and being on social media and making money from social media. This is not necessarily what everyone does to make money on social media. There are definitely tons of other ways that you can make money on social media. This is my experience. The first question is how to get connected with companies like Bomar Nutrition. So all of the companies that I've ever worked with, I have not reached out to. They have all reached out to me. Basically what happens is when you're growing a following and you have a little bit more followers, especially if you're on the Explore page a lot, you can be seen by companies and stuff because they're on the Explore page just looking at accounts to work with. They'll reach out to you, email you if you have your email connected, and ask you to work with you. A lot of them will try to do things where it'll be more like, we'll give you these free clothes, just talk about us. You know, one thing that is really important to remember is in any sort of partnership or cooperation or anything like that, there's two sides to it. There's the company and then there's you. While the company is giving you things, you're also giving the company, your audience's attention. So you're allowed to negotiate with a company. You're allowed to say, hey, I don't like that deal. Let's work something else out. Don't just feel like you have to accept whatever the company gives you just because they're a company. If a company reaches out, for example, and says something like,
we'll send you our leggings, you have to post them like 3 times on your story, and we'll send you them for free.
Or even worse,
we'll send you a discount code for our leggings, you just have to post them on your story.
You don't have to accept that. But don't focus so hard on working with specific companies. You can reach out to a company if you want. But personally, if it's your brand that you're trying to build, focus on building your brand. The brands will come to you if they want to work with you. How many hours per day would you say you work? When you have your own business, you're going to have to work a ton of hours every day because you want to make sure that you're actually going to be successful. If you are taking a ton of time off, if you're just slacking, falling asleep at 10 p.m. and waking up at 10 a.m., you are wasting time that you could be putting towards your business and towards everything that you're doing for your business. So for myself, I wake up by 6:37 every single morning and I get up and then I come over to my corner and I start working right away. I start working then and I basically don't stop thinking about or doing things for work until I'm going to bed. Majority of my time is spent on my business and making sure that I am not only going to be successful now, but in the long term. What was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome? So I knew that I wanted this to be my career coming out of college. I knew that while I was still in college and I was a sophomore and junior in college. And the biggest struggle was that I had like 2,000 followers and I didn't know how to make money from it. I first created a guide a little bit over a year ago. It was a lower body guide. So excited about it, put so much effort and work into it. I posted it, put it on my website. 0 people bought it. 0 people bought it, and I was so distraught. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm supposed to make this my lifestyle and I can't even get people to buy something from me. So that was obviously disheartening and hard to see in itself. But from there, you know, I could have been like, nope, I'm just not doing this. Like, this is not for me. But instead, I took that as a lesson and I ended up giving that guide away for free. I basically put on Instagram, I was like, hey, if you want this guide, giving it away for free, give me your email and I'll send it to you. It was a 4-week guide. It was full of a ton of information. From there, I realized, okay, wait, there's more to this. I need to start giving more value. And up to that point, I wasn't really posting any Instagram workouts, nothing like that. I was just kind of like posting like me, like, hey, it's me. I started offering a ton more value. I started offering workouts and information and knowledge and all these different things that people started learning from and taking in and really realizing that I actually had something to give them. So then they started following me and my account started growing. From that point, I started the Lower Body Challenge in October of that same year. And that was kind of like very terrifying for me because the last time I had tried to make something like a guide or a challenge or whatever, it did not go well at all. But I was biting the bullet. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it again. Let's just do this thing. I did it and it blew up. I am now on group 8 of the Lower Body Challenge. Next question. When did you start all of this? Almost 4 years ago was when I first started working out. I started my Instagram a year and a half later. So in the spring semester of my sophomore year, it was a completely private account. I was terrified of what people were going to think. Terrified. Like, what are people going to say when they come across this page and they see me? on this page posting about myself, about my fitness journey, like dweeb. Literally dweeb. So it was private for the longest time, and I just kind of made it because people were asking me what I was doing for working out and everything, so I was like, why not? I'm just gonna make it part of my journey, whatever. So I made it. It was actually called body__fitness KR. That was one of like 5 original usernames I had because I kept changing the username and making like the actual icon black because people kept finding it from my town, and I hated that. I was so scared of people finding it. So I continued posting on it, and eventually one time my sister and I went to the gym in July of that year, so actually 2 years ago now, and she filmed my workout for me and she edited it together, and she was like, I am not going to send this to you until you make your account public. And I was like, okay. So I made it public and I posted it, and it was the most daunting thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I was terrified to make this account public, but when I did and the feedback I got, it was just amazing. And it was like, why was I so scared to begin with? What the hell does it matter what anyone else thinks? What the hell? I made it public. That first year and a half, it didn't really grow much. I mean, it grew from like, I think 500 people to like 3,000 people. But then from the most recent September, almost a year ago now, I had 3,000 followers, and now I'm at 121,000. So it's grown a decent amount since then. How did you grow your fitness page? I just started mine, and I was wondering if you have tips. I do have an entire YouTube video dedicated to growing your Instagram page. There's a lot that I cover in that video that you should definitely check out, but some of it, the algorithm changes literally every day. So some of it may be outdated, but a lot of what I talk about has to do with marketing. What is your page about? You can't just be a fitness page. There are a million freaking N1 fitness pages. My fitness page is geared towards growing your glutes, and if you didn't know that now, I guess welcome. I talk about glutes all the time. I show you my transformations all the time. I talk about how to grow them, what you could be doing wrong. I talk about glutes all the time, not because I'm like obsessed with butts or anything, but because it's my market. It is how I've niched myself down so much to have this market and to be, you know, not just a fitness influencer, but to be a person you go to if you want to grow your glutes, instead of just someone you go to maybe if you want to get fit. There's too many people out there who can help you get fit. There aren't that many people who can prove and show you through what they've done with themselves and with other people that they can grow glutes. You know what I'm saying? What was the biggest mistake you made, and how do you grow? My biggest mistake by far was assuming that more followers would equal more money. I'm gonna say that again because I know there's a lot of people out there who want to grow their own businesses through Instagram, and they're assuming followers equals money. No. One more time. More followers does not equal more money in your pocket. So for a while, I was trying to figure out how I could make Instagram work and be a career for myself, so I didn't have to graduate college and go into a 9-to-5 desk job. That was like the last thing I wanted to do. And I was doing all this work, putting all this effort into my content and growing my page and everything. At one point, it just clicked. Like, it doesn't matter how many followers I get to. If I'm not making money from the ones I have now, then I'm not gonna make money when I have like 50K more or 20K more or 100K more. There are a lot of pages that have something like 20,000 followers, 10,000 followers, make a ton more money than people with 200,000 followers. There are people who have 200,000 followers and they make not enough money to have it be their full-time income. Just because you have the followers does not mean you have the income. How much did it cost you to get started in your own business? So it does cost money to register yourself as an LLC. I have a PO box that costs money. It costs money to make your website if you're gonna have a website. There's fees for PayPal if you're gonna use PayPal. I use ClickFunnels, that is a fee as well. I think it's a monthly fee. If you literally are starting completely from scratch and you wanna build a YouTube channel and all those things, you're gonna wanna get something like a camera. It doesn't cost that much money though. Like, that's the thing. It doesn't really cost that much money. I did get a mentor for a bit. That cost a lot of money, but at the same time, like, it was worth it, and it got me onto a path where I'm now a lot more established. I have an income, like a steady stream of income. What areas did you study to familiarize yourself about the business industry? Well, I was a marketing major in college, so I did have a bunch of business classes, finance, accounting, a bunch of marketing classes, obviously, because that was my major. Like intro to business, I think, international business, macroeconomics, microeconomics, like all those different classes. To be fair, I don't really know how much I remember from those classes. I was doing the other day, I was doing my tax return, and I still know nothing. Like, the business side of things is definitely hard, like taxes, expenses, all those things. It's something I never thought I would have to do, so I didn't really pay too much attention in those classes as much as I maybe should have, but it's something that you're gonna learn with experience. You don't really have to have a business degree or background or much knowledge really to do well with a business, but you have to be willing to learn when you do eventually run your own business. Read books or go on YouTube and search how to do a tax return or how to build a business, and there's gonna be a million things. YouTube is your electronic library. How did you become an LLC? I have insurance, but I'm not sure if I'm missing something. You have to register as an LLC through whatever state you're in, through the government. So I had to register through New Jersey state government. You have to register through whatever state government you have, and you register as an LLC that way. How did you know what kind of content you want to show? That's kind of something I learned throughout the process. Again, in the beginning year or so of posting, I barely posted any videos, like I think maybe 1 or 2 videos. It was mostly just pictures of myself and just like stupid things. And then eventually I got to the point where I realized that, okay, people like workout videos because it's value, you know, it's something that people can use, they can go back on, they're learning something from it, they're getting ideas from it. Use your content as something that is valuable to your audience, not just something for you to like say, hey, look at my body. Did you find a manufacturer for your clothing line? I did not. So basically I work with people who deal with the whole manufacturing side and everything like that. I just work with them to work on designs and everything else is kind of handled on their side. How did you get over wondering if anyone cared what you posted, example workout videos? People, honestly, for the most part, are just scrolling through Instagram, right? They're gonna come across your post, picture, video, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, scroll, scroll, scroll. That's it. Like, they spend like 3 seconds on your picture. If it's a video, they might spend a little bit more time on it, which is good for the algorithm. You can't overthink what people are thinking about your page, because odds are they'll think about it maybe for 5 seconds, maybe a minute, and then they're on to the next thing like, oh, what's for dinner? Like, they don't care that much. I promise, nobody cares that much. And if they do, who gives a shit? Post for you, because if this is something you actually want, then you have to not give a single crap about what anyone thinks, because it's not their life, it's your life, right? They're not the ones that are gonna be hating their life at a desk job 9 to 5. It's you. So only care about what you think, what you're gonna do. How did you know what to charge people for services as a coach? I worked with a mentor for coaching, so I had his help with that. How do you decide between what's good and bad content? So the thing with content is you wanna make sure it's offering some sort of value to whoever's viewing it. So value can be a whole range of things. It could be entertainment, it could be, you know, legit pieces of knowledge they're taking away from you. It could be just, you know, a motivational story. It could be a relatable story. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that value can be. Each piece of content should have a purpose and a reason behind it. So you shouldn't just post, felt cute, or like, hit legs today, great workout. Nobody cares. Like, nobody's getting any value from that. They're like, okay, congratulations, you hit legs, like, same. You have to post content that is offering some sort of value. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the visual grabs the people. If you don't have a visually pleasing image, people are less likely to double tap, comment, everything like that. The algorithm sees that, and they show less of your followers it, and show less of the explore page it, and less of his hashtags it. That's important, because if you want to grow your page, you want as many people seeing your stuff as possible. But if you are not having enough visually pleasing images and videos and everything like that, there's people spending less time on your posts. The algorithm notices that, it shows less people your stuff. It all, like, you gotta focus on first the visual, then the copy, then, you know, what does your whole entire feed look like? What does your whole entire page look like? But it starts with a visual.